accounting degree and got a job in an accounting firm. Now, this was in, 1984. And back then, women in the accounting field were almost an anomaly. There were almost none.
Right.
Okay. And she worked at a CPA firm, and one of the partners called her in, and he's going to show this gal what for. He started screaming and yelling and cursing and throwing stuff and being obnoxious, expecting the girl to just cower down and cry and run out of the room. Okay. After he was done, she said, "Are you finished?" He said, "I think so." She said, "Good. I'd like to get back to work now." And she went back to work. He never gave her a bit of trouble after that because she showed him what she was made of.
Right.
And today, there are far more women accountants than men. It's not a male-dominated field. In fact, it's a woman-dominated field, okay?
Absolutely.
So, 84, I'll do some quick math. What is that? 34 years maybe ago? In 35 years maybe? The gap is narrowed, and there is no pay differentiation between women and men. Now, they say that there is in a way because women don't make partner as quick as men, which is true, and the partners are the ones that make the money. But if you take time out to have children, and who takes care of the daycare, and if this guy's putting in 50 hours a week and the gal's putting in 40 hours a week, who do you think is going to get the promotion? Because the woman takes care of the kids. Okay. Now you can say that's right, wrong, or indifferent, but that's just kind of how we're wired. Women take care of kids. And that's a big reason why I think women get paid less than men. But the things that they do are just as important. Okay. So maybe money's not as important. Raising those kids is more important than the money on a scale where it's on a introductory level, they're paid the same. The men tend to put in more time. The men tend to get paid more money. Again, here I said we're not going to do this. Now we're doing it. But
well, yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of examples of men being very sexist in various jobs I've had. So I know from my perspective when they don't. There have been things I've had to correct.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Let
me ask a question in your field. People that unload the trucks. How many women unload the trucks?
Not very many.
Okay. Does that mean you work in a sexist field?
No.
Why? Well, then you don't have many women. Do you discriminate against women?
No, they just don't apply. They don't want to do that work.
Maybe it's because they physically can't. That's hard work. It's hard work. It's dangerous work.
The women that I've worked with and trained were above average in their ability to do it.
But how many were there?
It wasn't that many.
Exactly. Because women, that's just not a thing women do. Okay. They could.
No, I understand. Yeah, I'm agreeing. But what I'm saying, yeah. But I think part of it is also cultural. I don't think it's just biological. I think it's biological. It's cultural. Most women aren't interested in doing it. But I do think that there's also been cases where when women were doing as well as certain men, I've had supervisors try to act like they weren't. I've had to correct sexism against women that were on Cruise of Mine. They're like, "Oh, we're not going to put you on." I go, No. Her performance level is actually better than. So we can't pretend like there's not sexism. You can't pretend. I've saw an example in one of my fields of extreme sexism and racism against a black woman who is in another type of work I was doing. Just very blatant. Like to the point where they said it to me and assumed, I guess, because they'd found black guys. And there are black guys out there who are sexist and racist to black women in work too. And they messed up and said it to me. So it's there. That being said, I don't believe the answer is like Kamala Harris has a bill and says, she's going to try to make every corporation explain every percentage point of pay differential between men and women.
That's just ridiculous.
It gets better. And if you can't, she's going to fine you 1% of your profit. For every 1% of your profit, you'll be fined. So somehow.
Who gets the money?
The federal government, dude.
Wow. Wow.
That's a terrible horrible plan.
Yeah.
You know, so that's part of the problem is that just because we have sexism doesn't mean that our plans on dealing with it are correct. Reparations. Okay, so I can talk about that.
Okay.
Stupid idea.
It's ridiculous. I think reparations is a good idea. If you take a person who owned slaves and give a slave some of the money, okay? Maybe reparations. In fact, we kind of had reparations in a way in the South. Back right after the Civil War, senators at that time were appointed. And the government just appointed all the senators. Majority of them were black. And if you don't think that took the old slave owners by surprise, they hated it.
Well, not nationally, most of them weren't black, but yeah, there were a few of the state governments that were majority black.
There were a lot of senators that were appointed
in state governments.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And that was an attempt.
But most of them were, most of them were elected.
Well, not senators, because senators have only been elected fairly recently.
Well, but the House members would pick them. But that's not really reparations, though.
Well, it's
reparations is I owned you, now I'm giving you some money. Well, they really never got reparations.
Weren't slaves given so many acres of land on a mule or something like that?
They never did.
What am I thinking about that?
So one time, what happened was during the war, at the end of the war, there was an island off the coast of Georgia, and Sherman, who was crazy because he was a super racist dude. But during the war, he gave an island to a handful of black folks.
Okay.
As soon as the war ended, they took the land back. So there were some stuff. Some slaves got something during the end of the war, but as soon as they put the government back together, the Northerners gave the land back to the white people because they were afraid that they didn't want things to pop off again.
Right.
So everything was taken from them. They did, like you said, they forced the South to allow black people to vote, and they voted, then they elected representatives who then in turn appointed senators. So there was a period of about 5 or 6 years right after the Civil War where there was a lot of pockets of pretty decent integration or whatever, but as soon as the Democratic Party got their stuff together and the Klan and all that, and the economy went sour, all that went away.
We are almost 2 hours.
Yep.
Believe it or not. We could go on and on. You're a fantastic guest. You've got your stuff together. I enjoy talking to you. We could probably go on for 2 more hours.
Oh, always, yeah.
I think so. We didn't even talk about some of the candidates, but that's okay. We could talk till 10 o'clock tonight. We probably wouldn't get them all in.
We talked to the ones that got the biggest laughs.
Yeah, pretty much. Couple things. I need to know what's going on with you, because last time you were on, you said you're looking at a book. How's that book coming?
The first half of the book is pretty much edited, so hopefully I'll be. Plan is to get done sometime early August. I'm also recording my band CD,
and this is a big political book, right?
It's a vampire book with a little bit of politics in it. I don't know. Yeah. It's about vampires and it's like, yeah. It's funny because even in my editing, some of the modern stuff trickles in. But it's funny. I've almost written the sequel in my head already. I'm still working on this one. Finished recording my CD, a CD from our band.
With the band, the band's name?
The band's name right now is Stackerly.
And you're gonna appear next where?
It's gonna be August 25th at the Way Out Club, opening for the Angels of Anarchy. So
very good. Where's the Way Out Club?
Jefferson and Gravois.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so those are the two biggest things.
Last but not least, I'm gonna keep up on you until you do this.
Yes.
Talk to me about the podcast.
Oh yeah. So after I get pretty much finished with the CD and the book, I'm going to go ahead and at the end of the fall reinstitute the Greyfalcon podcast.
Very nice.
Get that rolling. So it's about time. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get back in the game.
Now, you're going to set up a home studio? Or you're going to
do it from home?
Okay.
Do it from home. I mean, the recording software I use for the band is more than sufficient for podcast.
What do you use?
It's called Reaper.
Okay.
It's
okay.
Multi-track.
Okay.
So and I'm gonna basically introduce the flavor of our music and flavor of, it's gonna be some politics, but I'm gonna. The goal is to start having guests by first few ones I'll just do by myself and see how it goes. But then probably late September, I'll start having guests. So
very good. Very good.
So.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to let it slide.
Oh yeah.
If next time you're on, I want to hear how many podcasts you've had.
Yep. So next time, hopefully I'll be rolling next time. Next time I'm in here.
Always good to have the Greyfalcon in studio.
Thanks a lot, James.
You bet. Well, that's it. We're done. 1 hour, 55 minutes, a world record for the James Strong Show podcast. If you like the podcast, I'm glad. Send me an email. I can send it to you. JamesStrongShow@hotmail.com. That's my email address. Send your email address to me, and then I will send you a link upon publication of the podcast, and you can download it and listen to it at your leisure. You can also find the podcast on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spreaker.com, Spotify, SoundCloud, Facebook, Twitter, just about any place you get podcasts. That's it. We're done. Until next time, this is James Strong saying adios.